I love carpeting plants and HC Cuba has always been my favorite. It's a low-profile plant with very tiny leaves, perfectly matching the size of my shrimp, and they absolutely love it. Ideally it requires some CO2, but I had a great result growing it without. Now I'm thinking of building an Iwagumi tank with HC Cuba covering the bottom, and I need a lot of it. I could simply buy lots of in-vitro pots, but that would be quite expensive. So today I'm gonna show you how I grow tons of carpeting plants without spending much money. First, I bought 2 cups of HC Cuba, and I know it's not much, but believe me guys, it's more than enough to start with. I also bought 2 small plastic containers with lids, and they will work perfectly to propagate our plants. You can see how big they are compared to the in-vitro cup, and if we manage to fill them with plants, we can yield like 5-6 times more plants than we have in this cup. I have never grown plants this way before, so I decided to experiment with 2 different substrates to see which one works best for propagation. For my first container, I use aquatic compost mixed with a product called NutriBase. NutriBase is a nutrient-rich substrate often used by aquascapists for the base layer, and I believe it's a mix of sand, crushed lava rocks and aqua soil. Aquatic compost is very similar to garden compost, it's just less rich in nutrients. For the second container, I simply use pure aqua soil, which I have plenty of in storage. I fill the containers about halfway with my substrates, and now we are ready to plant our carpet. Because I have in-vitro plants, they normally come in a cup with some nutrient-rich liquid or gel in it, and we need to wash it away first. So I simply wash the plants in a jug of water, and then I divide them into smaller portions. Now it's finally time to plant them into containers. If you have experience planting plants in your aquarium, you know it can be tricky. The plants always want to get out from the soil and float, but when you plant them this way, you will find it extremely easy. The plants don't float away because they're not in the water and they always stay on the surface, so all you need to do is just to evenly distribute the plants over the container. This is what we have so far, and it might not look much now, but believe me guys, these plants will fill these containers in no time. They will grow much faster this way than they would inside your aquarium. Before I place my plants under the light, I spray them with tap water, and make sure you use plenty of water until your soil is soaking wet. It's good to use transparent containers so you can see how deeply the water penetrates the soil, and I made the soil wet almost to the bottom. After I finished, I closed the containers with the lids to keep the moisture inside at all times. And now it's time to put our containers under the strong light, and my shrimp rack gonna work perfect for that. I built this rack with LED lights running above the tanks, and they are very bright. If I put our plants somewhere at the back, they're gonna get plenty of light. That's gonna be a perfect space, so let's do it now. Wow guys, take a look at this. It works even better than I expected, and what is good about this space is that these containers, they almost don't block any light for this tank, and these plants we're gonna grow here, they're gonna be totally free because I run the light for the tank anyway, so we don't need to use any extra energy for them. So now all I need to do is just to spray these plants with the water, maybe a few times a week, just to make sure we have plenty of moisture inside these containers. And once the plants fully cover the surface of the container, I'm gonna get back to you and we're gonna find out which substrate works better for this method. It's been already 8 weeks since we put the plants in the containers under the light, and I didn't check on them for many weeks, so I'm very excited to see the final result. Let's see what we got. Alright guys, let's open them up and see what we got. I'm super excited. Oh my god, that's an insane result. Look at these plants. Look at this dense growth, guys. And you know what? I didn't do anything to these plants for like at least 4 weeks. I didn't spray them, I didn't water them. They just been on autopilot and they grow like that. And this is another container which I made off camera, and here I used aqua soil mixed with aquatic compost, and look at this result. The plants here much taller. So guys, take a look at this final result. Take a look at this amount of green and healthy carpeting plants. But I'm not gonna stop here. I still don't have a tank and I want to grow more plants. So now guys, let's go bigger. Let's make a farm. So this time I'm gonna use a fresh aqua soil, and I'm gonna mix it with aquatic compost just to add some more nutrients in it. Maybe like 50-50 mix should be alright. So now I'm gonna fill these containers with our mix, And I think this mix works the best for growing the plants this way. So we have our soil in the containers ready for plants, and now we can pull out the plants from here and replant them in the new containers. And I'm very excited to see how the root develop here. Look at the roots, guys. You're never gonna see that in vitro plants because the roots are very undeveloped there, and it takes a long time for plants to grow because they need to develop the roots. So this time, once we plant the plants in a new containers, they should grow like straight away because we have a roots so healthy here. They should grow much faster than we plant them from in vitro plants. Wow, guys, that's insane. A little bit yellowing at the bottom, you can see, but just slightly. So look at this. And now, guys, look at this amount of plants here. That's insane. So now we can replant all these plants. Let's do it now. I just finished replanting the plants, and take a look at this little farm we have here. And guys, you know, our plants grew so dense. We had so much plants. We easily can use few more containers, but I'm really run out of space. I don't have a lot of space for them. So now I'm gonna spray the plants with the water like so. Then we're gonna close them with the lids, put them under the light and let them grow. Very excited to see the result. Yes, and I also need to tidy up all this mess. Look at this mess. Guys, it's been 8 weeks from my last update. I know it's been quite a long time, and the plant's been ready a few weeks ago. I just didn't have time to do the update. So now let's see what we got. And here's our little carpeting plant farm. Just look at the plants, guys. They are so green and so healthy. I think they look even better than the first time. Amazing result. However, in these two containers, the plants aren't doing so well. You can see some yellowing on the leaves, indicating that the plants have run out of nutrients. And this is simply because they are my two existing containers and I didn't change soil in them. I only added a little bit of fresh soil at the top, but obviously it wasn't enough for the plants. Honestly, I thought they're gonna be alright with nutrients, but when they're growing this way, they get all the nutrients from the soil, but when they're in your tank, they also get some nutrients from the water column. That's why we need to supply for these plants more nutrients. And I think, guys, we found a perfect formula for growing plants this way, and it's simply a mix of aqua soil and aquatic compost, and I'm sure you can even use ordinary garden compost. You're even gonna get more nutrients from that. And now let me show you the plants in the small container, and you can see they're growing also very green and healthy, even though I didn't change the soil here. It looks like the mix of aquatic compost with aqua soil is spotting enough even for 2 growth cycles. That's really awesome to know. And now, guys, I don't even know what to do with such a large amount of carpeting plants. It's lots of HC Cuba here. It's definitely more than enough for one Iwagumi setup. Maybe I'm gonna sell some of it and get a little bit of money from that, or maybe I'm gonna build another tank. I don't know, I need to think about that. And guys, if you enjoyed me building this little carpet plant farm, please drop me a like, and if you wanna see how I'm gonna using these plants in my new Iwagumi setup, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.